Welcome to a 2v2 on Vaux Farmlands. This game is going to be Steel and Trisib 03 versus Doongle and CelticREP. We have allies in the East base, double Soviets this particular game, and double Oster in the West. So even though this is a Western Front Army's map, we have a classic matchup.
This is our sector now.
We've got conscript opening from CelticREP, Doongle going with... Oh wait, did I say double Soviets? It's not double Soviets. mixed allies there in the East. So we've got double riflemen from Doongle. Meanwhile, Steel throwing out double grenadiers from his teammate as well. So... pretty infantry heavy start here, which is something I think I tend to agree with on this map in particular. It's can be quite difficult to set up a good arc on your machine guns. Both teams spreading out and taking territory, heading straight for the fuel, as they tend to do. I think Vaux Farmlands might be one of my favorite maps because of its structure. Provides lots of opportunities for all factions to excel.
We have secured the sector.
Pioneers will be engaging some combat engineers here in the south soon. Pioneers do have a slight advantage, but more Soviet troops will arrive.
We have a fresh grenadier squad.
Before more German troops will arrive. Combat engineers do make it into the building before the pioneers can get there. They are going to get into extremely close range against them, but one model drops quite quickly, and there are two windows on this particular side of the house. They will be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, conscripts have also moved up and win them the engagement. In the north, we also have an engagement. Riflemen are getting attacked by grenadiers. They overextend and take some model losses. Those riflemen also get a little too close to some pioneers. Things not going very well for Doongle here in the north.
Area is ours.
Grenadiers being engaged by riflemen at close range. I don't think he's going to be able to win this. He should definitely disengage. There he goes, trying to pull back into better cover. Meanwhile, rear echelons that were harassing the north will get forced away. Here in the south, Grenadiers are engaging these conscripts at range. They do have a numbers advantage, don't really have a cover advantage though. Conscripts trying to take advantage of shot blockers while harassment continues across the south. Axis map control looking quite poor. Conscripts will move up to engage, but a nicely timed machine gun could steal the engagement. Nice use of Ura to get away from the machine gun and continue to tip this engagement in Allied favor. Grenadiers being forced to reposition out of a Molotov, but they're still in the flames, taking heavy damage. The MG42 does manage to set up and suppress one squad of conscripts, and the other one has fallen too low to continue fighting. A fresh squad of conscripts, however, is on its way, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to win this. This Grenadier squad, however, has fallen extremely low. The machine gun is moving, repositioning to assist. Meanwhile, here in the north, it looks like the American player is not doing very well. Trisib having successfully pushed all of his forces back, but a lieutenant is on the field and a utility car will be following up shortly thereafter. Nice flank by that Soviet flamethrower, but it looks like they got suppressed. That Grenadier squad will make it away by a hair. Meanwhile, more conscripts moving up, but they don't really Ura very well. They Ura straight towards that thing. They will be able to get in range and throw a Molotov, I think. Maybe not. Machine gun is repositioning regardless, and the Grenadiers will be able to keep them suppressed, so the engagement goes to the Axis, and he will be able to take control of the south once again. Meanwhile, the engagement continues up here in the north. Trisib has gone elite troops and given Vet 3 to his MG42. Going to Going to delay his teching a little bit, but it does give him access to armor-piercing rounds if he can land a Faust on that M20. Heavy damage on that Grenadier squad. It could go down here. Riflemen don't chase, though. This could be a close engagement, having an extremely close range. If the rifleman can drop enough Grenadier models before getting DPS down, no, they just can't do it. They're too damaged and will be forced to retreat. 2 Grenadier squads in the retreat path as well, wiping the squad. Meanwhile, the machine gun up here is keeping that LT suppressed. That Pioneer squad falling dangerously low, however. Machine gun trying to reposition to get some armor-piercing rounds off, I think. The M20 is looking for a way to flank around behind it. Rifleman retreat. Meanwhile, Steele will take control of the south with his Grenadiers.
Welcome to the Death Factory, boys. Stick with me and you might just make it.
Trisib trying to close in on that M20. Does not have skirts, so it could actually die extremely quickly. So that MG42. Conscripts engaging the machine gun here in the south. Grenade goes out, completely missed. Nice dodge. Molotov over the bush. Does not connect. Nice dodge again. Nice dodge with that grenade as well. Tons of grenades and counter grenades. Nothing connects. Meanwhile, in the south, bit of a push for the house. We do have Grenadiers in the house. Grenade going out. That one does connect and destroys the flamethrower. Full retreat forced from that squad. And this squad in the house is getting Molotoved as well. 1 flame crit, taking out a Grenadier. I think that the Grenadiers can win this if they don't lose control of the house to those conscripts, but it looks like that's what's going to happen here. In the north, the American player continues to play cat and mouse. We've had airborne selection for quite a while, as well as elite troops. We do have a Pathfinder beacon going down. Still no M20 mines that I can see. It's going to be very important that some of those are well placed here in the late game if that Tiger Ace ever hits the field. Grenade going out. Oh, wiping the squad. Nice rifle grenade. I almost think that that squad might have survived that if they had just stood there in green cover, just stood there and taken it just as Peter intended.
Our supply line just got cut off.
More grenades being exchanged. Extraordinarily grenade-heavy game from these players. Without anybody purchasing any upgrades, I think it's going to be kind of hard to scale into the late game, but fortunately, since nobody's purchasing any upgrades, the grenade spam just continues back and forth. Nobody will have a particularly distinct advantage. Except for Trisib, who actually has spent a ton of munitions on G43s, but of course, G43s aren't nearly as good as LMGs, although against conscripts they're not bad at all. Stun grenade goes out. He will immediately retreat, however, from the M20, not wanting to lose that full squad. Meanwhile, Steele has to reconstitute his army and his base, relying on Trisib entirely to hold what little territory they have. Paratroopers making their way forward. We also have a scout car up here in the north to assist. There is the Vet 3 MG42 is in a bit of trouble. Those Pathfinders in the house could potentially start wiping models left and right if they fall too low. Fortunately, being Vet 3 will make them quite durable. The paratroopers have been upgraded with LMGs. G43 Grenadiers doing what they can. Stun grenade going out. Counter grenade perfectly aimed. Oh, but the scout car pushes the Grenadiers out of their blast radius. Look at that. Probably not intentional, but still impressive. That's next level stuff right there. Dodging grenades by vehicle pushing. Rifle grenade does not connect. some of these grenades are not particularly nuanced, happening when there's only one engagement happening on the field at a time. A T grenade goes out on the scout car. Oh, but it gets main gun destroyed. Still, the M20 will easily be able to finish it off. The pack is not positioned very well to counter. Any second. What is that thing doing? Wow. I cannot believe that scout car is still alive. That is extraordinarily lucky. Grenade going out down here does some damage. Heavy damage from the flamethrower on that grenadier squad. Both squads retreating. Flamethrower will around the corner and get away, just barely. Pack making its way down there as well. Soviet infantry engaging more grenadiers here. Stun grenade goes off. G43 is doing very nice damage to the guards, but they sniped the scout car. He got a little bit lazy, microwaving that back to the base. He just left it there. He definitely should have just right-clicked his base and let it go. Now he just lost that scout car for no reason. Steele's army making his way back towards the center. He does catch some guards on retreat. Oh, nabbing himself a free PTRS if he wants it, I guess. Could be useful against the unskirted M20, actually. It looks like he is going to choose to... Nope, changed his mind. Going for a grenade on the Maxim, but they're so spread out he really can't kill that. He does wipe the two models in the rear, but an LT is moving up to finish him off. He's pressed, will get pushed away. Meanwhile, big push by Trisib here in the north, catching those paratroopers in pretty close range with the G43s and Pios. We do have a grenade going out. Nice dodge, but the Pios might go down. Nope. Nice retreat. Handled that grenade quite well, actually. PTRS has not been recovered by anybody.
We're taking fire! They just promoted us! Enemy forces are neutralized.
Stun grenade going into the house. Does a little bit of light damage. We also have paratroopers continuing to fight in this area, and they are reinforcing at the beacon, keeping them in the field. We have a little bit of a harassment attempt going down for the south, but it doesn't look like it's going to work with these two conscript squads defending. As far as tech, we do have some Panzer Grenadiers hitting the field. Battle Phase 2 is cooking for steel. Battle Phase 2 has already been purchased by Trisib, who might be going for Tier 4 since he has elite troops. Steel, on the other hand, might be holding out for an elephant. Other than that, he's going to have to rely on non-doctrinal armor. Engagement happening here in the north. Paratroopers have forced away all of Trisib's infantry. He's going to be moving up to take control of the north VP and fuel. Center VP also being taken by this field gun here. Although Steele's army is making its way back forward. Rifle grenade goes out, but does not connect. Finally have some LMG upgrades being purchased by Steele. They're definitely a long time coming, and they should be able to give him a bit of an edge in these engagements. Of course, against paratroopers with M1919s, it can be quite close. It just comes down to cover and positioning, as it always does. Panzerfaust going out on the unskirted M20, and I'm actually kind of surprised that this M20 hasn't been planting more mines. He's got the munitions for it, so I'm not really sure what his goal was in purchasing the M20, if not to plant mines. Especially when he knows that a Tiger Ace is on the way. LMG's doing massive damage to that Grenadier squad, and it will be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, here in the middle, Panzer Grenadiers, and machine gun all doing what they can against some combat engineers, conscripts, Maxim, lots of combined arms on both sides, in fact. Look at this super aggressive push now from Trisib. Pack getting very, very aggressive. Not sure what he's hoping to do here, but he is really sending that pack deep. And now he's kind of changing his mind a little bit. Looks like he may be just trying to hunt down the M20, which has been fully repaired here in the north. Second pack also moving up. Ooh, nice rifle grenade there. I think that Vet 2 paratrooper squad might go down. Oh, the pack killed it with a shot on the M20. And everything will be forced to retreat there. Nice, nice play by Trisib. That M20 could definitely have been microed a little bit better. Kind of just drove straight into the arc of fire of 2 packs. Meanwhile, still not much action in the south. Steele focusing pretty much entirely on the center, although not really feeling sufficiently confident to actually take the point. Meanwhile, Trisib is actually capturing territory in the north with packs, which is quite dangerous. But the Allies don't seem to have any armor yet, but we do have a Su-85 on the way from CelticREP, who has chosen guard, Soviet Combined Arms. So no heavy call-in tanks there. And, so yeah, tier 4 from him without calling tanks, and his opponent doing weeks now, of course. Airborne, if we take a look at his tech, we will see Sherman cooking now. As for Steele, we do have Panzer IV on the field, a little bit risky. In fact, probably a terrible decision against Soviet tier 4 and American tier 4. Going to be countered quite hard. Flamethrower gets a nice burst off on those infantry. Oh, there's an M20 mine. Alright, so there's one. There's some Soviet mines around as well. Oh, wow! That M20 mine just got destroyed. Oh, as does that Soviet mine. He must have seen both of those getting planted, and he diffuses both with rifle grenades. Meanwhile, we've got stun grenade going off there. Lots of infantry repositioning into better cover. Those grenadiers are just out in the open road, but there is also an austere mortar firing. Smoke grenade going out. That Soviet mine looks kind of scary. If that gets detonated next to some American infantry, who knows what could happen. Look at this incredibly aggressive push. Oh no! Ooh! Only 2 models lost. That's not too bad. Panzer IV pushing with the infantry, getting very aggressive here. There's no ambulance. There's no way to heal or out-reinforce this. Panzer IV gets a nice shot on the Major. Major does go down, but that Panzer IV just dove right into a field gun and Su-85. Su-85 misses. Field gun about to fire, but it gets clear of the arc of fire. But fortunately, the Sherman still had armor-piercing rounds equipped. Panzer IV will go down. Very nice timing on that Sherman, punishing that way over-aggressive Panzer IV. They now know that their opponents are both tier 4, so further Panzer IVs might not be the best decision. That being said, it's going to be up to him to decide what is best for him to call in when he has no access to Tigers. The Elephant maybe not. Oh, full squad just got wiped on retreat. Look at that. And they die in this like glorious cluster of like intertwined infantry. It's really kind of creepy looking. Front line of the Axis is collapsing. Katyusha firing on this blob of team weapons, and we do have another Panzer IV being purchased by Trisib. Not sure I agree with that decision. He could probably have gone for tier 4. Tried to throw a Panther on the field. In fact, he does have 90 fuel in the bank. Panther in addition to Tiger Ace is very potent. Panzer IV, maybe not so much. It really depends on fuel control and how long you can stall before that Tiger Ace hits the field. He still has 4 command points to go before Tiger Ace will arrive. Conscript's gonna get TPS down. Riflemen and paratroopers and pathfinders engaging some grenadiers. Riflemen take a nasty shot upon entering the house. They will survive though. Meanwhile, these paratroopers falling pretty low to those grenadiers. Rifle grenade forces them to reposition out of cover, and P4 is taking shots on those pathfinders. Everything will be forced to retreat by Trisib's Panzer IV and vetted infantry. Meanwhile, the Su-85 is making its way towards the north. We also have the Katyusha about to fire once again. Some juicy targets here in this area. And another Panzer IV has been produced by Steel as well, so they're going to struggle a little bit against the Jacksons and Su-85s. Ooh, there's the first Jackson shot. Nasty damage on that Panzer IV.
We are losing Soldat. You guys, listen to me if you want to live.
That Panzer IV is going in hard on the Katyusha. Jackson takes Su-85 takes a nasty shot on his rear armor. Jackson moves up to support. Huge damage on that Panzer IV. No chance of escape. There it goes. He came very close to being able to take that Katyusha out, but he didn't even get to trade. Just threw that Panzer IV down the drain. Still no commander selection from him. Elephant's becoming less and less likely the more medium armor he purchases. Jackson moving up to deal with the second Panzer IV now. Conscript's falling rather low. And a pack just got decrewed. Oh no. Putting that Panzer IV in a very dangerous position. Takes a Jackson shot. Oh, what is that pack doing? He's losing his opportunity. Oh no. That was a dead Panzer IV. I can't believe he messed that up.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
Nice cutoff by Trisib here in the Steel here in the south, sending his Panzer Grenadiers to grab that strategic point. Conscripts will be forced to reposition out of the house and try to counter harass. Against Panzer Grenadiers, they don't really have much of a chance though. Panzer IV desperately in need of repairs.
Grenadiers ready.
Jackson needs repairs as well. Sherman getting repaired. Paratroopers making their way towards the middle fuel. Rifle grenade forces the lieutenant out of cover, but this G43 squad has no vet yet and they're falling rather low. But the lieutenant will be forced to retreat. Nice dodge once again by those paratroopers. Lots of munitions continuing to be spent on rifle grenades here. Somewhat surprised, in fact, to not see some Teller mines going down. These Teller mines are extremely helpful against the onslaught of medium armor. Pack takes a shot at the Sherman, forcing it to reposition. HE shells not really connecting, but the squad is falling low. Paratroopers moving up, but they're not upgraded, unvetted, but riflemen also moving up to support. I don't think those grenadiers are going to be able to hold this line. Meanwhile, here in the middle, conscripts attempting to take the center victory point, but taking overlapping machine gun fire and mortar fire. Probably not going to be able to secure that. Panzer Grenadiers attempting to clear these conscripts out of this house. Looks like they could take this engagement, although both squads falling quite low. And he retreats! He could have easily wiped that squad, but he retreats.
Infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Meanwhile, in the north, he was not, or in the center, he was not watching that conscript squad. Looks like they might have got wiped by the mortar or something. Katyusha firing. Looks like he fired that blind. There's not really anything in this area. He does nail 2 models in the mortar squad. And these infantry will force all Soviet infantry away from the south, giving him an opportunity to capture it. Meanwhile, here in the north, Panzer IV has been repaired. We'll be hitting Vet 1 soon, forcing away some infantry there, retaking control of the fuel and victory point in the north for himself. These allied tanks getting repaired. We'll be able to re-engage very soon, and a second Jackson is on the field as well. As far as CelticREP, we also have a second Su-85 in addition to his Katyusha. Grenades going out, don't inflict all that much damage. The weapon itself hasn't even taken any damage. Flamethrower circling around as well. Grenadier squad will be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, here in the south, some flares get tripped by that Pioneer squad. Planted quite a few of those. You only got one model though. They're super cheap, so whatever. 10 munitions. Panzer IV engaging some flamethrowers. Doesn't have the manpower for the Ace, but he does have the CPs. The American player has prepared for the Tiger Ace quite well, and he's just stolen another pack. Panzer IV taking massive damage from those Jacksons. It's both outranged and outdamaged by them, outclassed in pretty much every way. Full squad of Grenadiers just got wiped there. Looks like Steele wasn't really paying attention. He has made another Panzer IV, sends it straight to the front line, firing on some conscripts. Oorang into close range to try and damage the engine. He will continue to kite them. Conscripts disengage. Su-85 moving up to support. Meanwhile, Allied map control is not looking too good. Big push by these infantry up here in the north. The Sherman still has HE rounds equipped. It is still dangerous. Lots of Fausts going out on this armor though, and they're starting to feel the pressure a little bit, but there's not really anything to follow up on that. Ooh, nasty shot right there. Pull back a little bit, we'll be able to repair, but again, Axis map control looking pretty solid, holding 2 victory points, whiting the center victory point, holding both fuel points, both munitions points. Allies really need to make a big push here, and they're not really attacking together, and they also have a pretty static line with just a bunch of team weapons. He's not even repairing his tanks right now. He really needs to get those repaired. And we finally do have tier 4 from Trisib throwing out a Panther. Nice call. The Panther will definitely perform much better against those Jacksons than the Panzer IV, which really stands no chance whatsoever. Panther moving up, Katyusha firing in this area, forcing a machine gun to reposition. That pack is getting a little close to that Katyusha barrage zone as well. Panther engaging the Jackson and Shermans. Does take a little damage and will reposition out of danger. Making its way back to the north. Guards have successfully taken the center VP, taking heavy damage from a mortar though. And they will retreat. Maxim going to make a push for the munitions. Meanwhile, in the south, conscripts are grabbing the victory point. Grenadiers are in the area, however, to counter-harass. I almost feel like Doongle doesn't know he can repair these by getting out. He's just slowly repairing them with rear echelon troops. Jackson gets a nasty shot on that Panther. Su-85 tries to finish it off, but the shot bounces. Jackson will have to pull back for repairs once again. Su-85 as well, not getting too super aggressive. Panzer IV is making its way back to the front lines to assist against these infantry as well. Su-85 moving up.
That's it. The tech gun is ready for orders. I think we have their attention. They're shooting at the shit. Grenadiers here.
Trisib loses that full Grenadier squad with G43 upgrades just to not paying any attention. Maxim also goes down. Nice snipe by that Panzer IV. South will get fully taken by the conscripts there. The Axis front line is quite strong in the center, however. American harassment of the north will begin. Counter-harassment by G43s will probably continue. These G43s engaging some guards. Rifle grenade does not connect. Taking heavy damage. Stun grenade goes out. Oh no! He does manage to save the squad. Meanwhile, Grenadiers forcing away those paratroopers in the north. Faust going out on the Sherman. Sherman, oh, it bounces. Sherman will hit Vet 2. Oh no, Katyusha barrage. Oh, there goes that Grenadier squad. Katyusha forcing a retreat from that machine gun as well. Oh no! It's all falling apart. Every Grenadier squad getting wiped. Definitely not something that Trisib can afford to be happening right now when he's thinking of saving up for a Tiger Ace. And the irony is his teammate is floating 1,300 manpower right now. Yeah, Steele's army is huge and he's almost pop-capped. He's just kind of waiting around on fuel, I think, to throw out more tanks. He does have 2 Panzer IVs, but maybe he's thinking about taking up to Tier 4 soon. It's 30 minutes in, which is around the point where you want to start transitioning out of Tier 3 and get into Tier 4, especially when your Panzer IVs are struggling to really have any impact at all. Trisib has no chance of calling in an ace if he wants to keep his infantry army strong, so he continues to pump out Grenadiers.
Are securing our territory.
Steele sending his Panzer IVs south. Nothing defending except for a lone conscript squad in the house. This one kind of just defending this intersection. We have ambush camouflage from Steele, who's finally chosen a commander, by the way. Setting up Panzerschreck ambush here. We also have a Teller mine there, some Soviet mines there, so lots of defenses being set up. Grenadier squad taking heavy damage on retreat. I think those Vet 2 paratroopers could take them out. Here it comes, going across the red cover. Oh, but they were repositioning and they just couldn't make it happen. Panzer IV screening quite nicely and forces a full retreat. Katyusha firing on the Axis defensive line. Heavy damage on that pack. Will be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, Guards not successful in taking the central point, but the pack does get wiped. Panther repairs will continue. It will be back to full very soon. Meanwhile, a big push here in the south forces all Soviet infantry to retreat. The Su-85 and repairing squads are available to support if that tank gets a little too close. Meanwhile, American armor making its way down to the south as well. North Victory Point will fall to those Grenadiers soon. Stun grenade going out, but the LMGs are doing massive damage to those Grens. They will round the corner and successfully retreat. Push here in the south, going quite well. The Sherman's had its engine destroyed by something. Conscripts, however, are oorahing into close range. Nice use of smoke to screen for that Sherman. The Panzer IV has no choice but to attempt an attack ground. Doesn't work. The Su-85 is moving up to finish it off. Nice use of the anti-tank strafe. Close air support takes out the immobilized Sherman there. Su-85 moving up to try and destroy the Panzer IV. Oh, and that Soviet mine just destroyed the engine of this Panzer IV. Both of these tanks are now sitting ducks. Oh no, and the Panzer IV's last possible saving grace failed to take out the Su-85. The Panther tries to come to the rescue, but hits a mine itself, and there are 3 anti-tank guns set up to defend. Super close air support comes in, but it doesn't really hit anything. Ooh, nice snipe by the Panther, though. Didn't have the presence of mind to get his Katyusha to safety, so that Panther will at the very least be able to trade a Katyusha for its own life, in addition to, of course, the Su-85 that it just took out. But meanwhile, there are 2 completely dead Panzer IVs here in the south, desperately in need of rescue operation. There are pioneers on their way to repair. We do also have conscripts oorahing up for a final AT grenade on this one. Here it comes. Boom! 1 Panzer IV taken down, the other one still immobilized. Really need the American armor to move down there and close the deal. It looks like he's a little bit busy with engagements in the north, however. His Pathfinder's falling extremely low. These G43 Grenadiers dealing with some rear echelon troops in this house, and it looks like they're not going to be able to finish this thing off. Soviet infantry arrives to cease the repairs, though. Heavy damage on the Pioneer squads, and they'll be forced to make a full retreat. Some kind of light artillery barrage falling here. Conscripts moving in for another AT grenade. PTRS shots continuing to blink away at the frontal armor of the Panzer IV, doing what they can. Looks like he's going to try and take it out with nothing but infantry, but it's very costly. Full conscript squad just went down. The PTRS has continued to chunk the health off, though. It's falling extremely low. Another Panzer IV arrives to support. Main gun destroyed there. But they switch targets to the other Panzer IV. It continues to creep to safety, and finally American armor support arrives, securing one kill, but disengaging, not going to go in on the other tank there. Meanwhile here, Grenadiers miss a grenade on those paratroopers, but will convince them to retreat. Axis map control looking very strong, although they have lost a lot of tanks. The Panther has gone down. Panzer IVs, 2 Panzer IVs have gone down. So currently they're living on nothing but a Panther and a Panzer IV, but their losses have been huge on both sides. And the Allies are actually both floating quite a bit of resources right now. They should probably be trying to capitalize on the fact that they're trading quite well. Throw out more tanks, throw out a little bit more infantry, and keep up the pressure. They really need to improve their map control situation. Otherwise, their trading, despite how decent it's been, will be for nothing. Panzer IV getting way too aggressive. What is he doing? He just dived right into a pack and a Jackson. Ouch. Panther taking shots from range. Nice use of the Panzerschreck squad. The Jackson will go down. Panther is now going to move up into close range. There is still a pack, but it's just slightly outside the arc of fire. G43's trying to take it out. Panther doing what it can. Sherman's trying around the corner. The Panther's going to go in deep. And there's the Sherman. Both American tanks destroyed. Now what little advantage they may have had is completely gone. However, the one saving grace they do have is their incredibly powerful elite veteran infantry. It's going to be up to them to win the game at this point. It's not going to be easy though, because there is a Panther on the field and they no longer have effective anti-tank that can deal with it except for one Su-85. Doogie needs to throw some more Jacksons on the field immediately and get control of the fuel back into Allied hands.
Engineer standing by.
Now, I don't know how Steele has managed to float 1,200 manpower for this entire game. That's a pretty impressive thing. Still, I don't think has tech to tier 4, despite it being almost 40 minutes into the game now. Trisib's infantry forces are still not really what they need to be for them to be able to safely call in a Tiger Ace. That being said, a Tiger Ace would be devastating now that the Allied armor support is so weak. They have only an Su-85 and no American tanks. After that huge push, Tiger Ace probably would have been justified, but the longer they wait, the less good of an idea that becomes, especially since it's crucial to win the game as soon as it hits the field. So you really need to call it in as a final solution. Panther receiving some repairs. Again, Steele getting ridiculously aggressive with his Panzer IVs. Fortunately not punished for it this time, but the stolen anti-tank weaponry is problematic. The Allies need to make a big push for the north, which is extremely lightly defended. In fact, the Axis forces are so weak right now, I think that they don't quite fully realize just how weak their opponents are compared to this insane, like, super American infantry force that could easily just walk over everything in this area if not for the Panther and Panzer IV. So a nice coordinated push with the AT guns and elite American infantry could do massive damage here. It's just a matter of execution. Pathfinders sniping those G43 Grens. falling super low. They have to get out of there. Ostwind has hit the field, making its way forward. Kind of interesting to see an Ostwind after having tech to tier 4. You'd think he would go for like a Boombar or maybe another Panther or something like that. But I guess he wanted a cheaper option. Wanted that higher rate of fire. He does know his opponent is airborne, so he might also be keeping in mind the fact that he wants to shoot down those P-47s once his Tiger Ace hits the field. Sort of a preemptive AA
Our opponents are
unit.
seizing the sector.
Rifle grenade going out. Doesn't quite connect, although comes very close to wiping that guard squad. DP recovered by those combat engineers, and they will retreat. Meanwhile, grenade going out on that machine gun. Ooh, almost wiping it, but he should be able to preserve the veterancy on that, and he just gets that back to reinforce. Nice placement of those AT guns. Huge damage on that Ostwind there. Grenade going out on those riflemen. The G43s could snipe the final guy on retreat. Oh no, Ostwind moving up. Nails him.
We just lost a unit.
Oh, devastating opening shot from that Panzer IV right there. Rotating around, he wants to finish it off, but he rounds the corner, just can't make it happen. He's actually going to get pretty aggressive here, trying to wipe that squad. There's a T-70 on the field? That means he backtech to tier 3 for a T-70 of all things. Well, that's a surprising purchase. I don't know what the deal is there, but okay.
God's troops, the sector is at risk.
There goes the Ostwind. Nice play by that anti-tank gun, taking it out of range with the lieutenant to screen.
Enemy contact.
Panzer IV doing some dancing with an Su-85 down here, taking shots at the T-70. Which is a purchase I still don't understand. Half-track, nice late-game half-track purchase to keep those team weapons as reinforced, although it's going to be tough with that Katusha continuing to bombard him. Pack gets a nice shot against the Panther's frontal armor. Again, the Allies need to harass the map. The north is almost completely undefended. Get some stuff up there.
Attempting to steal our sector.
Continuing to struggle a little bit against these G43s. He's just floating a ton of resources too. He really needs to field more units. He's having trouble microing his army. Jackson trying to reposition back to safety. T-70 just kind of sitting around down here. Just so many idle units from the Allies need to get moving. They're gonna run out of time. More paratroopers being fielded, in addition to another Sherman. Steel just kind of defending territory here in the south. A squad of guards does manage to squeak by. Looks like they're going to go straight for the VP and try and slow down the victory point bleed. Pretty strong defense set up here in the center, unfortunately. Again, the north is very weak. Oh, T-70 stands no chance. As soon as it peeks its head out, gets abandoned. P4 wants to destroy it completely despite having ample infantry in the area to potentially just steal it.
You are showing weakness. We are down to 75 points.
Allied push for the center fails. Only 70 points remain. The guard squad harassing in the south gets pushed away by the Panzer IV. T-70 remains abandoned there. Ambush camouflage from P-Grins there on anything that attempts to round the corner. LMG Grins in the house help deal a little bit of damage to those guards on retreat. But they will be able to get away. Everything that the American player is attempting is just failing here. again. I don't think he even realizes that he can repair his tanks if he
Consolidate our
screws.
forces. We're left with 50 points. They're trying to outflank us. Taking enemy's fire. We lost an anti-tank gun. Bastard.
AT gun firing on the Sherman.
We got engine damage.
Engine damage there. Target weak point. It looks like it's going to go down. We do have smoke beam deployed. Main gun destroyed. And there it goes out of control, destroyed by the pack, which is now Vet 3. Allies look like they just don't stand any chance. Hurling themselves desperately now at this Axis defensive line. It's too late for them. There's no chance of them coming back from this situation. And the Tiger Ace was never even fielded, somewhat surprisingly. And that's going to conclude the game. All in all, I would say that the Allies needed to be much more aggressive, much more cognizant of their need to harass, and I think that the Axis needed to spend their resources a little bit more with just plain absurd amounts of float there towards the end. That being said, good game, well played by all players. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's it. Thanks for watching.